Armed forces continue to hunt down fleeing terrorists, inflicting on them heavy losses in Aleppo and Homs suburbs. Nasrallah says what protects Lebanon from any Israeli threat is the presence of violence of deterrence. American TV channels disclose a secret document signed by Obama to support terrorists. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our news for today. In Aleppo, our armed forces have been able to eliminate scores of terrorist mercenaries who wreaked havoc and spread panic among citizens.
In Handarat, north of Aleppo, our armed forces killed and wounded several terrorists, some of whom carried Arab nationalities, and destroyed several cars equipped with machine guns. In Saladin neighborhood in the city, the armed forces chased fleeing terrorists in Ard al-Hashkal, killing and wounding a number of them and arresting others. The authorities also ambushed an armed terrorist group in Shahara village west of Aleppo, killing and injuring several terrorists, some of whom carried Arab and foreign nationalities. Among the killed terrorists, Ali Shakir Delli and Abdussalam Jibril were identified. The authorities also ambushed another terrorist group in al-Atarib neighborhood in Aleppo suburbs, killing or wounding all its members and destroying a pickup truck equipped with anti-aircraft machine gun. The authorities also intercepted a terrorist group who tried to attack law enforcement troops in Kafar Halab in the governorate suburbs, scoring direct hits among their ranks. Al-Badia Development Center protection units in Khanasir province in Aleppo suburbs also repelled armed terrorists who tried to break into the center, killing or wounding them, damaging 3 pickup trucks and confiscating 5 cars which were in their possession. The protection units also captured 7 of them and confiscated their weapons. In Sibkhet Jabul in Al-Khanasir, the authorities clashed with an armed terrorist group who were riding in 3 cars equipped with machine guns, opening fire at vehicles and carrying acts of killing and robbing. The 3 cars were destroyed and their occupants were either killed or injured.
The authorities pursued an armed terrorist group near Al-Qanatir village in Al-Atari province in Aleppo suburbs, killing or wounding its members. Among the terrorists killed were foreign nationals. A pickup truck provided with machine guns was destroyed. Terrorists Muhammad Ahmed Fahd and Khadr Ahmed al-Ahmad were identified. The authorities also killed or wounded several terrorists who perpetrated acts of killing and sabotage in Al-Safaria and Aleppo suburbs. Some of them are of Arab nationalities. Moreover, many terrorists were killed in Al-Hajib province in Aleppo suburbs while they were set on planting explosive devices in an empty building. Several devices exploded, destroying the building and killing several terrorists. In Homs, competent authorities at dawn today set up an ambush to an armed terrorist group in Al-Qasir city who was terrorizing citizens and attacking private and public properties. The operation resulted in the killing and wounding of a number of terrorists, in addition to destroying 2 vehicles equipped with Doshka machine guns. In Artuz area in Damascus countryside, a unit of our forces, with the cooperation of local residents, chased an armed terrorist group and killed a number of them. Among the terrorists killed was a leader of a terrorist group. Tens of terrorists turned themselves in with their weapons. Large quantities of weapons were confiscated in Jdedat Artuz farms and hideout for manufacturing explosives and mines.
The local residents informed us that there were gunmen in the farms, so we stormed in and we found a large number of terrorists inside. We clashed with the gunmen. They were stationing on the rooftops as well as around the complex. We killed 3 of them. Inside the hideout, we discovered an explosive charge, different types of weapons and military uniforms. We killed some of them and we arrested the others. I was opening fire at the army. The Free Army asked me to do so. They gave me money and they asked me to do so. They gave me 2,000 Syrian pounds. They captured me inside the farm. I was opening fire at the Syrian army. The Ghalioun groups asked me to do so. They used to give us money and give us weapons.
The army forces also pursued the fleeing terrorists and stormed into their hideouts in Yelda and Babila, south of Damascus. They killed several terrorists, arrested others, and confiscated their weapons. The authorities found stolen medical material and equipment used by the terrorist groups for their wounded members. Citizens in Yelda and Babila narrated the crimes of the armed groups who terrified them and perpetrated acts of killing and looting.
Lately, there were armed men who spread on the streets, therefore we could not come back. There are armed men everywhere, therefore we went to escape their crimes. Today we have come back after the return of the Syrian army, who is working on bringing things back to normal. When the army entered into the neighborhood today, we felt safe. Yesterday and the day before, there were armed men. We were afraid. People left their homes, but they started to return today.
May God protect the army and bring them back safe to their mothers. May God Almighty protect the homeland.
Hezbollah Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah found that what protects Lebanon from any Israeli threat is the presence of a balance of deterrence with the Israeli enemy and an Israeli fear that those who possess such weapons also possess the courage to repel any aggression at any time. In his word during the annual iftar ceremony held by the Commission in support of resistance, Nasrallah said the defensive strategy that is currently appropriate for Lebanon is the presence of a strong army and resistance, as well as harmony and coordination between both of them. Nasrallah added that the objective of the USA and Israel after the victory of the resistance in 2000 is to disarm the resistance and Hezbollah. Some political forces in Lebanon embraced such objective and placed the country before a new political and media battle, a battle of negotiations and debate inside and outside Lebanon called the resistance disarmament, Nasrallah pointed out. Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez has voiced his country's support for the Russian and Chinese stance, which respect Syria's sovereignty. In a press conference he held after his return from Brazil, Chavez added that the problems in Syria should be solved by the Syrians and through peaceful means. He expressed deep regret over the European government's recognition of terrorists in Syria and assistance to them, whether by funds or weapons. Chavez condemned the terrorist acts that target civilians, affirming that terrorist groups in Syria are perpetrating such acts, as it was the case in Libya. The Venezuelan president said some European countries are still incapable of abandoning their imperialist ambitions. Finally, within the framework of targeting stability and civil peace in Syria, U.S. President Barack Obama has signed a covered document authorizing U.S. support for terrorist groups in Syria. Associated France Press quoted different American networks as confirming that the directive was to offer secret logistical support to the terrorists in Syria. The White House officials declined to comment on the reports, but did not specifically rule out the idea that Washington was providing more intelligence support to the terrorist groups in Syria. Washington has previously admitted that it is offering what it called medical and communication assistance to the armed terrorist groups in Syria. With this, we end our news bulletin for today. For more information about Syria and the region, you can visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Up next, the latest business and market news with Khalid Saabani after the break.